There's a whole bunch of keys to victory for the Aggies when they play the Auburn Tigers on Saturday. But I'm starting to think the biggest is being able to run the football.
You are Locked On Aggies, your daily podcast on the Texas A&M Aggies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into Locked On Aggies. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak. Thanks for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. You know, we are so close to game day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday. It's almost time to wake up and enjoy a Texas A&M game day. Kyle Field's going to be rocking tomorrow. Can't wait to see it. Wish I could be there. Really sad I can't. But keys to a win for the Aggies. I look at this, and you know, it's funny because for a while I kind of thought that the biggest key to winning the game is your receivers getting open versus their talented secondary. I still think that is extremely important, very important, has to happen. But I think that the most important thing is the ability to run the football. I'll tell you this, doing more digging on Auburn and learning more about Auburn and what their talents are. I think one of their bigger question marks is their defensive line. I think they're concerned. They're a little bit concerned about pass rush, a little bit concerned about the ability to stop the run there. And, you know, it hasn't been bad thus far. I know that, you know, they were really worried about stopping the run against Cal and did a pretty good job. But once again, I think Texas A&M is a different animal than what Cal is. And I think that you want to be able to get the ball moving on the ground because it creates something we've talked about a ton here this week and a ton here on this show, which is balance. And I know I'm beating the drum here, but balance is going to be key to this team being successful. It's really easy to, you know, and I've listened to the Auburn side of things. I've listened to some different Auburn podcasts, and, you know, they're leaning toward Texas A&M's planning to beat Auburn through the air. It's going to be an air raid type of thing where you're throwing the football 70 times. And, you know, I don't think that's how Coach Petrino and Coach Fisher want to win this football game. They want to be able to run the football and have that turn into play action passes. They want to be able to run the football and have that turn into deep balls. So I really think that you need to see the football move on the ground, whether it's Amari Daniels, whether it's Reuben Owens, whoever it is, Le'Veon Moss. I mean, whoever's running the rock, you need to see the ball move on the ground. You know, at least 4 yards a carry, 5 yards a carry, something like that. And listen, do you have to run for 400 yards? Do you have to run for 300, 200? No. I mean, if you go and run for 150, 160, that is going to create opportunities for Connor Wigman in this passing game because it's going to make you not one-dimensional, and you don't want to be one-dimensional. It's great to be able to throw the football. I mean, it really is great to be able to throw the football. You know, one thing I'll chop this up to, and you know, it's kind of so Josh Allen. I'm a big Josh Allen guy in the NFL because he won me a couple fantasy championships, and it kind of looks like he's regressed a little bit this year. I know they played well last Sunday, but hear me out on this. I think this is a good example of what you don't want to be. I think that they got away from running the football at times over these last few seasons. And, of course, they lost their OC, Brian Daboll. He went on to be the coach for the Giants. But I kind of think that they were so pass-oriented that they got away from the run that people can just kind of settle into that, and it's kind of hurt them now. You know what I mean? And I mean, and maybe that's crazy. I don't know. But what I'm saying is this. You don't want the Aggies offense to get like that. You don't want it to be where Connor Wigman eventually down the season takes a step back because people have gotten so used to him throwing the football a million times. And I think that you've had balance in all of the games except for the Miami game. But here's the deal. game script's a big part of it as well. When you get down, the game script's going to change. You're going to have to throw the football. And that's what happened against Miami, and that's what led to whatever it was, 45 passing attempts for Connor Wigman. But I think that's a big key, the ability to run the football and big plays in the run game. I mean, there haven't been a lot of broken run plays. I mean, Ruben Owens had a somewhat long touchdown run, but it's like, I want to see a 54-yard run or a 54-yard touchdown runner. First play of the drive, I want to see Amari Daniels house one. Like that kind of stuff is going to help this offense flow. Obviously, a 70-yard touchdown or a 75-yard rushing touchdown is going to make things easier. But I want to see this rushing attack move the football against the Auburn Tigers. That's going to be a big deal. If they aren't able to move the football on the ground, do I still think that Connor Wigman and the receivers will be able to get open and move the football? I do. I do think that. But I don't want to be one-dimensional. I've seen a lot of Auburn fans, and the Auburn fans are confident, which I'll give them credit. I'll shout out to all you Auburn fans listening. I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all tuning in. But they seem confident. Zach Blackerby, who we had on the show yesterday for a little Locked On crossover, just posted a little, a score prediction. And so I looked at the score prediction, and all these Auburn fans are predicting Auburn, which I get it. You got to be confident in your team. I get it. But the Auburn Tigers are confident. I think we got to go show them what we're all about here at Texas A&M. But that is the biggest key for me. Is being able to key to a win, being able to run the rock and run the rock efficiently. The next thing I have here is DB's got to be locked down. Now, do I feel good about this? I do not. I don't feel good about this. Jordan Gilbert, by the way, he just posted a picture of himself like in a hospital bed. I haven't heard an update on it other than that photograph. So, I mean, you're going to see a lot of Matthews. You might see a lot of Harmon, which I'm not upset about because those two played well on last Saturday. But you still don't want we still like depth. So having him out, whatever his deal is, you're not a fan of. And here's the deal: he could be sick. He might. I haven't heard an update. All I saw was him in a hospital bed. So we'll have to see what the update is on him. I'll get that to y'all as soon as I know something. But so the DBs need to be locked down. And like I said, that is a tall ask. I'm not asking something easy here. But here's the deal. I mean, eventually, we can talk about strengths and weaknesses of this team all day long. We can say, well, they're not really the best. They're not the best. They're not the best defensive team, or they don't have the best secondary. You have to figure out what you're weak. You have to figure out and overcome your weaknesses, or you're not going to win football games. Because teams are just going to realize what the weaknesses are and just pick on them. If I'm Auburn, I am just taking deep shot after deep shot after deep shot, throwing slants. I'm doing everything I can to just try and bully the Texas A&M secondary. Why would you not? What have you seen that tells you that's not going to work? A few games into the season for the Texas A&M Aggies. And I know they played a little bit better. I thought the Matthews and Harmon looked good. I think that this thing could be better this week. But if they're not, I mean, I don't think that is a good thing for the Aggies. So I really do want to see that be improved this week. I want to see the ball, the defensive backs kind of stop the ball through the air, pass breakups, pass deflections, to get some interceptions. I think if you don't want the Auburn Tigers to come in and upset you, that's how you do it. Go get a couple picks. Go get a couple, go break up some passes. The next thing I have written here, and I have it written in all caps with 3 exclamation points, and it says pressure. I've been thinking about this, and I wanted to run this thought by y'all and see what you all think. So we don't know if Coach Durkin is ever going to draw up some blitzes and draw up some big-time pressures and do stuff like that. We don't know that. We have no idea. So this is what I'm thinking. The players, if your coach isn't putting you in a position to succeed when it comes to blitzing and getting pressure on the quarterback, that's not on the players, that's on the coach. And I've said that time and time again. But the players, what I can say is this. You got to start trying to figure out how to get a pass rush with 3 or 4 guys running. I'll give it to, it's a lot easier to get after a quarterback when it's 5-on-5. You got 5 guys rushing. You bring a 6, you bring the house. It's a lot easier to get after the quarterback when there are more guys rushing than there are blocking, because obviously someone's going to be freed up. So, the way I kind of look at this is, if they're not going to send a whole bunch of guys, you got to find a way to get pressure by yourself, so whoever it is, if it's Big Walt, if it's Fadil Diggs, whoever it is, if they're sending 3 guys, if they're sending 4 guys, you got to try and find a way to get pressure with just you all. And I know that stinks. I know that we'd love to send some pressures, but that's the cards we're being dealt right now. So try to find a way to get pressure with just a few guys. And here's the deal: if you do that, it's gonna make it a lot easier on these DBs. It's gonna make it a lot easier on it's gonna make it a lot easier on this defense stopping the pass. It'll help you stop. It'll help you do everything. So you got to try and find a way to get pressure, even if Coach Durkin isn't drawing up some kind of crazy blitzes and stuff like that. I have one more key to success, and I think it's another big one. And then some Auburn players that we need to watch out for coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at LinkedIn Jobs. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. I highly recommend going over to LinkedIn. There's just so many easy ways to build connections, so many good ways to network yourself. If you're an employer looking for employees, LinkedIn's your place. Flip the script. If you're trying to find a job, there are easy ways to get in touch with employers. You have got to head over to LinkedIn Jobs. You will not regret it. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Now, we have 2 friends to talk about today. We are also going to talk about our friends over at DoorDash. I can't sit here and talk about how awesome DoorDash is. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows what it does. I tell you, DoorDash is a thing. I mean, think about all the different opportunities I've used DoorDash in my life and the different ways you can use it and times you want to use it. I just highly recommend heading over and checking out DoorDash if you don't already have it. If you're in a big city and you're visiting, you don't know where to get the food, you don't know where some good food places is, you order a DoorDash, they'll bring it to your hotel. If you don't want to get out of the house and it's storming and you're feeling under the weather, order some food to the house. It is just the best service. You have got to go check out DoorDash. Get 50% off your first DoorDash order up to a $20 value when you use code LOCKEDONCollege at checkout. Limited time offer, terms apply. That's 50% off up to $20, no minimum subtotal, and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code LOCKEDONCollege. Don't forget, that's code LOCKEDONCollege for 15% off your first order with DoorDash. The last key to a Texas A&M victory, before we get into some Auburn players that we need to watch out for, is Connor Wigman being able to use his legs. We've talked about how talented this secondary is. This is one thing I've had the Auburn fans that have been in the comments, and once again, I appreciate y'all so much for watching the show over here at Locked On Aggies. But they've been saying, and they've been making an argument, and I've been giving them a little pushback on it because I think it's a great back and forth conversation. But they've been saying that, we have one of the best secondaries in college football, and we're not letting up any yards, which is true. Great points. Once again, great points. But what I'll tell you to the Auburn fans listening is this wide receiver room for Texas A&M is not a Cal wide receiver room. It's not Samford. It's not UMass. This is a room full of NFL talent, much like the Auburn secondary is full of NFL talent over there. We'll talk about some of the names in that secondary that are future NFL players and players to watch out for right here in a sec. But, the Texas A&M wide receiver room is also full of plenty of NFL talent. So this is going to be a battle, and it's going to be fun to see. But what's interesting about it is I think that the Aggies do have a nice advantage here. One thing I saw a drive for UMass against Auburn. They had and I was doing more digging on Auburn. UMass had a running quarterback with a cool name. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. It's a cool one though. But he on the first drive he used his legs and he was kind of hurting the Auburn Tigers. Now Auburn fans listening, it was first drive of the year. I'm not going to completely knock you, but my point I'm making here is quarterback using his legs kind of has had an effect. We saw it a little bit in the Cal game, has had an effect on the Auburn Tigers. Connor Wigman is an athlete, and he can run the football. So if you're looking downfield and Evan Stewart's covered up on a play and so is Aniyah Smith, and you roll out to your right, if there's nothing there, take off, get 6-7 yards. Take off, maybe get a big chunk. So I think that Connor Wigman can really affect this football game with his legs. And if he does that, it could help lead to a Texas A&M victory. So Connor Wigman using his legs, I think, is another big key to a victory here for the Aggies, because there's going to be some plays, when you got NFL talent on NFL talent with the A&M wide receivers going against the Auburn DBs. So you need to do a good job of, if it's a stalemate on a play, just run and get yourself 6-7 yards, live to play another down. So I'd love to see Connor Wigman use his legs and use them well against the Auburn Tigers. Now, some players for the Auburn Tigers that we need to pay attention to, remember the name, who they are. We'll start with the running back, Jarquez Hunter. I'm going to tell you this. I don't think he's being talked about enough right now in the SEC. Jarquez Hunter is a really, really good running back. He missed the first game of the year with a suspension. He's looked a little not himself since then. And I think that he's a great player that if you let him, can bite you in the behind. They love to run it with Hunter. They love to run it off the left side of their offensive line. They have a very high success rate at doing that. So I think you need to know that. I think you need to look at these numbers and look at these stats and realize that. But Hunter, he'll hurt you if you let him. If he's quick, he's strong, he's a powerful running back. The front seven needs to contain Jarquez Hunter. That is going to be a big key for the Auburn Tigers, for the Texas A&M Aggies in this football game. The other player the Aggies need to watch out for is Robby Ashford. He's a quarterback who likes to run the football, really quick, speedy guy, okay? Really good, one of the fastest players, there is. I mean, this dude can move, and they like to bring him in to run the rock. But here's the deal. What's always funny to me when I watch the tape on Auburn is you watch the tape and you go, when they put this guy in, teams have to know that they're running the football, and it still works, and he still rips off chunk plays. You have to contain him. When he comes in the football game, you have to almost sell out to the run, because if you don't, he's going to run around you and he's going to run by you, and there's 6 points. They like to use him in the red zone. And I'm sure they have some kind of package for him where, Ashford's in, he's going to run the football, jump pass, something like that. So you got to be careful. But when he's in the game, he's been running the football. So you need to know that about Jarquez Hunter. Not Jarquez Hunter, about Robby Ashford. He likes to run the football. Then your two talented corners of DJ James and Nehemiah Pritchett. Pritchett's a great player who we haven't seen so far this season. And it sounds like, from everything I'm hearing from the Auburn side of things, is he's going to be out there. And he is a talented corner, NFL draft pick, just like DJ James, who has been out there and has been really good so far this season. So seeing how Aniyah and Evan Stewart match up with these two is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be your real test to know, hey, what do we got? What do we have in this Texas A&M wide receiver? Because we think it's good. We think it's one of the best in college football. We think it's one of the best in the SEC. But this is an opportunity to go against one of the better cornerback duos in college football. And if you're able to have a good showing against them and put up a lot of yards against them and score some touchdowns, I'm sold on how good you are as a unit. So, you got to be careful with them. The other player that needs to be talked about is Rivaldo Fairweather. This guy is a really good tight end. The Aggies have got to pay attention to him. He's a bigger guy. He's a freak athlete. And I'll tell you, he does a good job creating his own space. He does a good job catching contested passes. You have to make sure that you're paying attention to Rivaldo Fairweather. He had a couple back-to-back big plays in the Cal game that pretty much won them that game. So you have to do a good job stopping him, keeping an eye on him, because if you don't, he's going to go up and get the continue and I think they're going to continue trying to get him more and more involved. So that's another player that the Aggies need to pay attention to and kind of try and lock down. And then they have, some of their receivers, they have a mix of big receivers and then a mix of quick guys. So one of their best receivers that I've seen on tape is a guy named Jay Fair. And he's been, one of their more constant catch passes every game guys. And then they've also got some big receivers. I looked at this roster for Auburn. I'm like, these are large human beings. Like, they've got this guy Hooks, Shorter, and Mardner, and they're like 6'4", 6'6", and 6'3". Like, these are big wideouts. Do I think they're the best receivers? No, but I think that they're big, and sometimes that can hurt you. So you need to make sure you pay attention to that. And then Donovan Kaufman is the last guy. He's kind of the do-it-all guy for the Auburn Tigers in the secondary. And I'll tell you, watching the tape on him, he's really impressive. So they need to be careful with him. And then the last guy in that secondary is Jaylin Simpson, who leads the SEC in interceptions with 3 right now. There's a lot of players that Aggie fans we need to watch out for. And, doing more research, talking to Zach Blackerby, learning more about this Auburn Tigers team, these are the guys we need to be watching out for. And, there's some talent on this Auburn team. There's some talent. So the Aggies need to take care of business and win this football game. This is a big football game. You have got to win it. It's time to prove it. And I'm going to talk about why and what that means coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/LockedOnCollege and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, I gave my best hype speech before the Miami game, and it didn't pan out, so I'm going to give another one. But it's time to make a statement. It's time to go out and make a statement against the Auburn Tigers. This is a quality football team that you get to play in front of your home fans. The Miami game, you were on the road. There were some Aggie fans there, but you're on the road. You're not in your place. You're not in your home. You got to protect your home. You have got to go and prove to the world what this Texas A&M football team is all about. This is a good team. I know it. All you everydayers here at Locked On Aggies know it. We know how talented this team is. And it's time to go out and prove, hey, we're going to make a statement and we're going to hammer down on the Auburn Tigers. I made my prediction yesterday. I said 24-17. I think the Aggies win. But goodness, would I love to see them win this game by 2 touchdowns or more. I think it's going to be a little tighter. Like I said, I think the Aggies win this one, but I think it's a little tighter than, we might think. And I think that's going to end up being okay, because I think this Auburn football team is actually going to end up being pretty good. I think we're catching them at a great time. But this is a big game in front of your home crowd, like I said. Go win it. Get some momentum. You got Arkansas. Then you got Bama. 2 games that I think you should win now. And the only way to do that is get yourself some momentum against a fellow SEC West opponent, a solid football team with a good coaching staff. Go beat them. Go beat the brakes off them. And I think if you do that, it's really going to give yourself some momentum heading into the rest of the season, heading into some big-time matchups coming up over these next few weeks. There's a lot to prove for the Aggies this weekend, and I just can't wait to see the team go out there and show the world what they got. I believe in this team. I know all y'all everydayers do. I really do believe in the Aggies. I mean, I believe in Connor Wigman. I believe in Evan Stewart. I believe in this defense. I know y'all have struggled, but I believe in this defense. I think they're going to figure it out. And it really is time for them to go prove it. They have got, go get some pressure. Secondary, let's lock down some receivers. You all can do this. Y'all, I really believe that this defense is going to be okay and they're going to figure this out. But it's time to go make a statement win in front of your home fans, looking for, your biggest win of the year against an SEC West team to get the season started, to get conference play started. Go make a statement. Get yourself back in the top 25. Beat Arkansas. Beat Alabama. Go beat up on some teams and let's go make a run. Let's go make a run at this SEC West. Every team, well, not every team, because some teams have already played an SEC game, but we have a loss. We lost to Miami, and that's painful and it hurts and it stinks. But we're 0-0 in SEC play, just like everybody else, except for, I guess Georgia's 1-0. And you get what I'm getting at here. So this is your opportunity to go. It's a new season. New season starts today, and it's the SEC season, the biggest season of the year. Go prove what you got. Go prove what this team is, and let's go win a big football game and have a fun night celebrating this team that we all love so dearly. So it's a big day. It's almost game day. I'm really excited to see how this game goes, y'all. I think the Aggies win it, but I hope they win it big. I can't wait to see this one pan out. That is going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Aggies. Thank y'all so much for tuning in every single day. I mean, I really do appreciate it. I can't express to you how much it means to me that I have all y'all everydayers commenting and listening and every day. I mean, it means the world to me to know, the support I receive from you all. So thanks so much. And everybody have a great weekend. I will have a show out after the ball game on Saturday, just a little 10-minute reaction. So be ready for that. Be ready to tune in for that. That'll be fun to get to break down, hopefully, a big win. So I'll have that coming to you right after the ball game on Saturday. Have a great rest of your day today. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the ball game, and we will see you for the reaction show on Saturday.